Hello everyone, welcome to week 1 of your Rad Avenger League previews. Obviously not the first preview. We had the draft recap last week that you all loved so much, and gave me definitely no shit for how I graded it. So loved that, but obviously we're here back with our first legit preview of the season. Week 1 of NFL starts tonight, I guess, as long as this video uploads when it's supposed to, assuming that it does. So week 1 starts tonight with the Chiefs and the Ravens, but that means that you're on your lunch break today on this Thursday watching your first preview starring me, and that means we got everything back. The wheel is back, don't worry, along with a new I guess it's a surprise segment. Really depends on how well you kept up with the chit chat and in Discord, obviously. But people paying close attention will know what this segment's gonna be. People not, get ready to be excited. So let's just get right into everything. So yeah, let's just start with the wheel. Got a couple new, obviously some familiar favorites are appearing on the wheel this year, but we do have a couple new entries. I'm not going to spend an hour explaining what they all are. We'll just explain what they are when they get them. But as you're seeing here, there's some new ones. So let's just get right into it. See what we got this week. I couldn't find the clown music, by the way. I don't know where it went. Perfect. One of the new ones. Worst scoring kicker. So the lowest score by a starting kicker in the Rad Avenger League this week will earn you $10. So congratulations to whoever sucks dick at starting kickers. So well, that's the end of that segment. Congratulations. 2 minutes in, we've already done one segment, and so we're just gonna jump right into the second one, and I think I'm gonna let John introduce this one. So take it away, John.
Andy Isabella minute, Andy Isabella minute, Andy Isabella minute, Andy Isabella.
So of course we have the Andy Isabella minute. So what we're gonna do here, and I actually fucked up how I was gonna do this, so I need to pull these over here. Sorry, you're getting some behind the scenes. Minute on the clock. We have 1 minute to discuss Andy Isabella. So, fuck, I don't know if this window's gonna go away. Andy Isabella was born in Mayfield, Ohio in 1996. He is 27 years of age. Andy Isabella is. Mayfield, Ohio, as you are all probably aware, is a town with a population of 3,356 people as of the 2020 census. It is a suburb of Cleveland, located in Cuyahoga County, Ohio. It is 28.4% Italian and 16.4% German, and a lot of other English settlers. Not seeing a lot of diversity in this town here. But Mayfield, Ohio is, it's a cool town. Its school is Gates Mill, Highland Heights, and Mayfield Heights. The only high school is Mayfield High School, which is where Andy Isabella went to high school. And that's your Andy Isabella minute. So thank you all for joining. Shut the fuck up, Google. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed our Andy Isabella minute there. If he ever records a stat or has a highlight, I'll definitely be sure to talk about it. Otherwise, we are just going to learn interesting facts about his past and his childhood, and maybe a little bit more about Mayfield, Ohio. I really expected him to have like some famous alumni. It didn't. So, at least not on the Wikipedia page. That could be further seasons of research, but you'll have to tune in to the next 16 episodes of the Rad Avenger League Weekly Preview to learn more. So thank you all for enjoying that segment with me. Yeah, so we're just gonna get right into the matchups, I guess, after that. I mean, it's not like we don't have rankings to talk about. We really have nothing. So what the fuck happened to my page here? Damn. Did the NFL website just die? Where's my game center? There's nothing here. This is crazy. One sec. All right, sorry about that. I found it. Actually, I really didn't. I had to like manually type in the game center link to get it there. So NFL website's busted, I guess. Also there's Verizon ads on here, which was a jump scare. I didn't need to see that on my time off. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna start with Wade versus Cameron. Heart of the Cards versus Mahomosexuals. Oddly enough, Patrick Mahomes versus Mahomosexuals. So a lot of these in week one, we're gonna have a lot of difficulty projecting here, because obviously we don't know what teams. There's always gonna be some teams. We know what teams are kind of good. We know what teams are kind of bad, but there's gonna be a lot of teams that surprise us. And I think a lot of this season is going to be spent looking at Cameron, just talking about the Houston Texans, because he's got CJ Stroud, he's got Joe Mixon, he's got Stephon Diggs, heavily invested in the Houston Texans, which is not a bad team to be heavily invested into, mind you. They're very good. They had an insane offense production last year, but two of these pieces weren't there for that. Joe Mixon and Stephon Diggs were not a part of that. Obviously, CJ Stroud had maybe the best rookie season ever, definitely for a quarterback. But can he continue that into a sophomore season? The classic sophomore slump, and how will these pieces fit into that? Luckily, he gets a matchup against another complete unknown in the Indianapolis Colts. I think it should be a fun shootout-y type of game. I don't know that we necessarily call it a shootout, but Anthony Richardson versus CJ Stroud, two young quarterbacks, the faces of the division going forward. I think we could end up in a young quarterback duel. Obviously, CJ Stroud has a ton of experience on his side. But the biggest thing is we really don't know what the Indianapolis defense is going to look like. They're kind of a team that always has pieces, and the perception is that they have a good defense, but we've seen that just not be the case. And once again, we're the second-year head coach, so we really don't know what that's going to look like. So all that to say, I don't know what the fuck this is about to be. Christian McCaffrey against the Jets. Christian McCaffrey has proven that no matter what defense he's playing, even one as good as the Jets, he's going to be productive. He's going to be solid. He was dealing with a hamstring that he had in training camp, calf, something like that, a minor leg injury that he was dealing with. All the reports say he's good to go. So having that in your back pocket on Monday night obviously is very nice, a very nice safety net for Cameron to pair up with George Kittle. To have there on the back end. On the other side, we got Mahomes versus the Ravens. The Ravens defense is probably going to be good. The secondary is probably going to be good again. It doesn't matter. It's Patrick Mahomes. And now it's Patrick Mahomes with weapons. I know Hollywood will be missing this game. We'll see what he can do for the rest of the season. But Rashee Rice is not suspended, and he really came along at the end of last year. Travis Kelce, should be. It's the beginning of the year, so he should be healthy. Age shouldn't be a factor quite yet. So I trust Mahomes to get the job done. I trust him to win that game. Whether or not he produces high-end fantasy numbers, I think he's going to kind of have to. I don't really. I know a lot of people are really high on Pacheco. I guess we'll talk to him when we get to him. We'll talk about him when we get there anyway. But the Chiefs are the offense is always going to run through Mahomes. So, anyway, all that to say, yeah, you don't have to worry about him. Kyle Pitts has now a nagging hamstring injury, going to go along with his just 4 years of being whatever he is, a genetic specimen that just can't play football, can't get the football. You were kind of hoping that now with Kirk Cousins and a viable quarterback that this might be the year that we kind of finally see something. So we'll see how that affects him. If Wade has to maybe go a different direction in tight end, there's a decent amount left. He picked up Taysom Hill. He's got him sitting there against the Panthers in week 1. So we'll kind of have to monitor that situation and see if we've got a last minute swap out. Luckily they play at the same time. So in the early window on Sunday. So you'll have a good heads up before you have to make that decision. And the really interesting piece here is Marvin Harrison against the Bills. The Bills defense, I think, is about to take I was going to say a step back, but they were pretty bad last year. So I think it's a step sideways. They're old, obviously they added Rasul Douglas at the end and got better. But I don't think this is the Buffalo Bills Von Miller defense that we maybe want to think it is. I think the perception on them has changed to being a bad, viable, defense that you can exploit a little bit. And obviously Kyler coming back in his first fully healthy season in 2 years. He played well at the end of last year, so really excited to see what he can do. And obviously Marvin Harrison is definitely not the best receiver Kyler's ever had, but could be. He's definitely the most exciting. D Hop is the best he's ever had, but definitely the best he's had in a few years. And then Garrett Wilson, who had a lot of promise and a lot of shine last year. Obviously the Aaron Rodgers injury derailed that completely in week 1. So interesting to see what he can do also with a viable quarterback now. The website has the projections here as a 108 to 104 victory for Cameron. And honestly, I think this is going to be one of the better games of the week. And I'm probably going to say that for everything because they're all going to look close because we don't know shit yet. We don't know a damn thing. But I'm going to lean towards this being one of the weeks where having the Texans stack really shines. I do think that they will beat the Colts, and I think they will maybe beat them pretty handily. Even though I maybe hyped up that they wouldn't. At least they're going to score a lot. So I think I would lean Cameron just for the stack here. I do think that's going to bite him in the ass a couple times, especially if Nico and Tank Dell really break out of their shell and kind of take over that offense like they were last year. The rapport is there. But I do think for this week, Diggs is going to get the ball just to try to keep him happy early in the season. And I think that is a little too much to overcome, not to mention the stack of Mixon and McCaffrey there. So moving on to the next, we've got Raleigh versus Andrew here. And Raleigh, right off the bat, 2 very interesting quarterbacks with Joe Burrow, who obviously missed I think like week 6 on last year. He barely played. I mean, he was hurt to start the year and then ended up on IR and missed the rest of the season. And then Jaden Daniels on Andrew's side, who is just a rookie. He's completely unknown. Obviously one of the best quarterback seasons we've ever seen in college, coming off a Heisman Trophy. But now he's in Washington, where quarterbacks kind of go to die literally. We talk about Cleveland being a quarterback graveyard. ACLs die in Washington. So for them to go with another running quarterback is scary, but I think he's has a chance to be really, really good. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I know a lot of people are excited about him. I'm excited about him for the future. I think it could take a little bit. So yeah, having said that, Joe Burrow gets to play the Patriots, who might be the second worst roster in the NFL. You could argue maybe the worst. So that's a nice get back game. And Jaden Daniels gets the Bucks, who, the defense is definitely exploitable there. They're a little bit older, but obviously they're more seasoned. They're better than the Patriots. And the rushing upside there is nice too. Jahmyr Gibbs and CeeDee Lamb are 2 very exciting and explosive players. Having Gibbs in the Sunday night window against the Rams, who also is going to be a defense that I think, historically, you think Aaron Donald, you think that like the 2017 Super Bowl run, they're not that defense anymore. I think Gibbs has potential to do some nasty work on Sunday night. On the flip side, Kyren Williams, who would be in the same matchup for Raleigh, we don't know. Like that's a running back room that I personally don't want any part in. I think I've said all summer that I think Blake Corum is maybe the way to go there in the late rounds. And now we've got reports that Kyren is going to be the punt returner, the kick returner. So that's fun. We've seen what Kyren can do when he gets his share of touches. It's nasty, and the Lions, while they did improve their secondary, I don't think they've made that many strides. I think their defense is still very exploitable. But it's just gonna be, we don't know what kind of touches he's gonna get, and that's what scares me there. Holy shit, we have 3 running backs from the same game. You had David Montgomery, Kyren Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs. That's crazy. It's gonna be a fun Sunday night for this team, or for this game as a whole. And then the most ridiculed pick at the draft there was one that was a little more ridiculed, but I think the most that deserved ridicule Debo Samuel against the Jets. Obviously, Ayuk has now signed his deal. He will be playing. Christian McCaffrey is apparently fully healthy and 100% ready to go, which may have been the worst case for Raleigh in the Debo Samuel second round pick. Those are the two players that, when hurt, he kind of fills in for, and he's not really. I'm not going to take too many more shots at him. I mean, that's we've said what we said there. But yeah, I mean, bad news for Raleigh. Ayuk's playing, McCaffrey's playing, which means Debo is going to be a little bit more limited in his opportunities. So yeah, there's that. So the website here has this game projected as a 104-103 victory for Andrew. And I talked about the running back matchup, and I do think that might be the difference here. Yeah, I don't trust Kamara. I don't necessarily love David Montgomery right now anyway. I think this is going to be a heavy Gibbs game. I think they're going to kind of show what Gibbs can do. And then Kyron, like I said, I just don't know what's going to happen with him. I do like Joe Burrow to come back and put on a show. Oh, he's not going to have Jamar Chase, is he? Probably not anyway. Yeah, so I forgot about that. So I'm actually going to go. I was about to pick Raleigh here just because of the Joe Burrow factor. But forgetting that he will most likely not have Jamar Chase available, I'm gonna go with Andrew. I like Gibbs. Obviously, Lamb signed his extension. It's showing here he's on the exempt list. What? I think that's a glitch. I don't think that's true. That must have been from his holdout. Yeah, it's showing him on the website on the exempt list. So unless something's happened in the last hour that I don't know about, which y'all would be blowing this shit up talking about it if it did. So. I'm gonna go with Andrew getting the dub in week 1. Moving on to John versus Ashley, the other beneficiary of Jamar Chase maybe not playing in week 1. Ashley, her first round pick obviously was Jamar Chase. She did have a nice keeper in Jonathan Taylor. Justin Herbert fell down. So, I mean, you know, she kind of gets a little bit of makeup there, having Jonathan Taylor kind of step in. But there's really not a ton. Like, her wide receiver depth was already a little iffy. Khalil Shakir, Jordan Addison, and Xavier Worthy, and Jalen Polk being the fill-ins. Aaron Jones is in her flex spot, so not even really some movement there. Going to be really interesting to see what she does if Jamar Chase doesn't play. I would imagine, well, you can't really take a flyer with Xavier Worthy because he plays tonight. So and Jordan Addison's kind of dealing with some, did he tear his ACL? Or no, they said he didn't. So I guess Khalil Shakir is probably your play there, unless you go to the waivers and, I don't know, Jermaine Burton maybe. That would be fun. Anyway, so that another very interesting thing to keep an eye on in the Jamar Chase saga. The most fun quarterback matchup here with Josh Allen on John's team versus Anthony Richardson on Ashley's team. Anthony Richardson just, I mean, the same build and the same body as Josh Allen. We just haven't seen him do it yet. So, I mean, if he can live up to that expectation, could be a really fun matchup. Could be the steal of the draft. Could also be the worst quarterback in the league. We don't know. And then Josh Allen against the Cardinals. Josh Allen versus Kyler Murray is going to be so much fun to watch. Now, we talked about Ashley's wide receiver depth. Her running back room is pretty disgusting. Josh Jacobs, I think, will be phenomenal this year. Jonathan Taylor, I think, is finally on the path to play a full season. And Aaron Jones, when healthy, is next level. Obviously, he's had a lot of injury history, but I do like Aaron Jones a lot. So, you know, if she does have to deal with Khalil Shakir in the wide receiver spot and in the Pittman AR-15 stack, I think she can manage with Jacobs, Taylor, and Aaron Jones, especially with them all being fully healthy in week 1 for the first time in a long time. I think they're going to be all three chomping at the bit to get in there. You know, it may be a problem later in the season when the carries start to pile up, but I think week 1 they should be able to pull a lot of the weight of her team. And talking about Aaron Jones, his teammate Justin Jefferson showing up on the other side. I've been on record as saying Sam Darnold will be good in the Vikings offense. I think I said long shot MVP odds. That's obviously a little ridiculous, but I do think he'll be good. Good enough to feed the best wide receiver in football anyway. And then we talked about Houston a lot with Cameron's team. The number one last year there was Nico Collins. And you know, he's not getting a lot of the shine. He's showing up here on John's team. I do tend to think he will be the number one again. They have the most rapport. They have the best relationship. Obviously Diggs may have more talent, but you know, we'll see how that plays out. Devon Achane is your boomer bust of the century, playing against the Jaguars. It's just going to be fun to watch him play football again. Really excited. And I think one of the most forgotten people in all of fantasy, and Kenneth Walker, with a matchup against the Broncos that for running backs last year was just, I mean, you salivate thinking about it. So you know, obviously it's a completely different team. It's a completely new year, but that has potential to get ugly with the run game. So the projections here have it at 109 to 103 in favor of John. And that is with projecting Jamar Chase scoring 11 points. I imagine that's reduced because he should be in like the 15 to 16 range. I mean, let's just go with the obvious here. If Jamar Chase doesn't play, John is probably going to win. If Jamar Chase plays, I think it gets a lot more interesting. I think it's a lot closer, and I may even lean Ashley winning. But right now, from everything I've heard, he's probably not going to play. And for the same reason I didn't pick Raleigh, I'm not going to pick Ashley because I don't think her first round pick is going to play this week. So we'll revisit that at Kansas City. Obviously, if he does play, just disregard this. It doesn't count towards my record that I don't even keep anymore. All right, sliding down to Trevor versus Charlie. Let's see. So I said I would talk about Isaiah Pacheco. I have been in many arguments about Isaiah Pacheco. Is he the starter in Kansas City? Yes. So check one, bro. Are they invested heavily into him? Nope. Is he playing with the best quarterback that's ever stepped foot on a football field? Yes. Does that quarterback now have wide receivers? Yes. Is there at least no competition for touches? No. Apparently they're really high on this rookie to get goal line touches. I don't even remember his name, but they're really high on him. And now they brought in Samaje Perine to get the passing down work. So I don't really know what's left for Isaiah Pacheco. I don't really know what to make of him. I think he'll try it out with the starters tonight or tomorrow night, whenever you're watching this. Last night, fuck it. I think he'll be out there with the starters, and I think he'll be productive from the line of scrimmage. I think touchdowns are going to be a problem, and I think third down is going to be a problem. Anyway, not to go in on Isaiah Pacheco, but that was my going in on Isaiah Pacheco. The steal of the draft in I thought that was Brian Robinson. I was gonna make a joke. It's Bijan. Maybe still the steal of the draft at the pick 10. Bijan finally gets a competent offensive coordinator. He finally gets a competent quarterback, and he's going against a Pittsburgh pretty good defense. Obviously they're more on the pass rush with TJ Watt, but you know they can stop the run up there with, you know, the most mid of them. So I seeing Bijan fully unleashed is, I think, something we're all ready to see. And pairing him with Rashad White against the Commanders is something, but I'm really excited to see Bijan. And Jordan Love in Brazil, like, I'm not going to beat off Jordan Love anymore. But we do get a nice quarterback battle here with Jalen Hurts versus Jordan Love. I actually didn't notice that until right now. So that is kind of beautiful that y'all just get to tune into this Friday game. It's a little bit later. And just watch your quarterbacks go head to head. That's perfect. And then you get to do the same thing with some wide receivers on Sunday night. Obviously, we get Amon-Ra against the Rams, Puka against the Lions. I tend to lean towards Puka having the advantage there, just because, like, once again, the Lions secondary, they improved it. They drafted some pieces. I love Terry and Arnold. But it's not just Puka you got to worry about. Cooper Kupp is still there. Apparently, they got a rookie they really like. So there's a couple other pieces they have to worry about, and that obviously that Lions secondary was one of the worst in football last year. And then it is funny that Trevor, after bemoaning the Brock Bowers pick for hours, gets to play against Brock Bowers in week 1. And normally I don't like rookie tight ends. Obviously, Laporta had a monster year last year. Pitts was good a couple years ago when he broke 1,000 yards. But dude, the Chargers. It's the Chargers. It's the Chargers defense. They were just letting tight ends run wild last year. I don't think they got that much better on defense. Brock Bowers is a physical specimen. And now you do have to counteract with David Njoku, who I also really like on the other side. So, it's not like he's just totally overpowered at the tight end position. But I do think this week specifically, Brock Bowers is a great play, and I think he's going to do well. Now, normally I love the Jordan Love pick. Jalen Hurts getting the rushing there I'm going to give that check to Trevor. In the running back position, I tend to like Bijan to just be better than everyone. And I think Puka is going to have a monster week against the Lions. So I am going to lean towards Charlie here. The NFL website has projected 105 to 100 in favor of Trevor. I do think this game is also going to be very, very close. They're not missing, neither team is missing any pieces. Brock Bowers is questionable, but I mean, as much as I hyped him up, you can replace a tight end. But they will have some fun games to watch with the quarterback duel and the wide receiver duel on Sunday night. It would be really fun if that were up there to end the game. Trevor does have a kicker on Monday, so technically the game won't be over Sunday night, but that'll be a really fun duel to watch for Sunday Night Football. But I think I'm going to lean Charlie here. I think Bijan and Puka make the difference. And last but not least, we have myself versus Tim, a rematch from week 1 last year. In fact, I think these might be all rematches from week 1 last year. One of the more memorable games last year, though, obviously the Jets Bills Monday night. Was it Monday night or was it Sunday night? It was Monday night. Yeah, because Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Monday night debacle. With the Josh Allen interceptions, the defense, the punt return. I mean, just beautiful, just cinema, really. Two of the most fun quarterbacks in football with Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson. I've beat Kyler Murray's dick for months. I'm so excited to have him. I think the Bills are exploitable, as I said before. I do think the ranking or the projections here are disrespecting him a lot. They're giving him 16 points for most quarterbacks around the 20 range. I think that's very disrespectful. Lamar Jackson. So, and I'll talk about myself here a little bit too. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, may be the most intriguing thing to witness in week 1. How is that offense going to look now with Derrick Henry? Obviously they did Greg Roman leave last year? It was this year. Anyway, they're dealing with a new offensive coordinator. Whether he was there last year, I don't remember. But they've never had he's never had a bell cow back like Derrick Henry. And so I'm more interested to see how that's going to affect his run game than anything. Obviously him on scrambles and extending plays is different, but do they kind of trust Derrick Henry to take over all of the design run stuff? Breece Hall, I mean, come on, it's Breece Hall. Come on. So yeah, I mean, if you look at Tim's running back room here, Saquon is going to be so much fun. Obviously, with the Friday game, AJ Brown and Saquon getting to go in that one. I do think I have a pretty sizable advantage in the running back room specifically. Derrick Henry and Breece Hall is just a force to deal with. Saquon and Jerome Ford, it's good. It's not the other two as long as they're healthy. Now, Tyreek Hill scares the shit out of me every time I play him. You're just never safe with Tyreek Hill's on the field. At any point, he could go 80 to the house. And honestly, the same thing can be said for Malik Neighbors. Like, he's just two explosive playmakers that can break free at any time. I like my wide receiver room. I think they're all really solid. They're all really great route runners. But none of them are really this, breakaway at any kind of moment guys that Tim has. So they do scare me with their boom potential. And then obviously he has tight end 1 in Sam Laporta, which is just all day. The website here has this projected at 104 to 108. Like I said, I think Kyler Murray is getting disrespected on the projections a lot. I've never been one to bet against myself, so I'm gonna take me there. I do think Derrick Henry and Brees Hall are gonna be a lot to overcome, and they are gonna make me come over a lot too. So that is your week 1 Rad Avenger League preview. If I didn't make an intro for this, sorry, not sorry, I haven't had time. Like a theme intro, you know, like we had last year. And I think I deleted the one from last year. I don't know. Maybe I'll look through my computer and see if I can find that. Just be lazy about it. Anyway, good luck everybody this week. Really excited that football is back. Can't wait to rot on the couch for 8 hours on Sunday. So have a good weekend. Bye.